Secrets and Vows, Season 1, Episode 2, Hands That Linger. Morning arrived dressed in silk and silence, yet London was already roaring with whispers. Lady Eliza Ardenwood awoke with the unsettling sensation that the city had not slept at all, that while she had closed her eyes, secrets had multiplied, vows had been broken, and reputations had quietly bled to death. Her dressing table was crowded with letters. Not invitations, not love notes, confessions, warnings, threats. Each envelope bore the same delicate seal, a quill pressed into wax, elegant and merciless. The velvet quill. Eliza's fingers trembled as she broke the first seal. A man's vows mean nothing when temptation wears silk. Her breath caught. The second letter detailed a married gentleman, well-respected, well-loved, who slipped nightly into another woman's bed while his wife slept unaware. Locations were named. Jewelry described. Even the lies he told over breakfast were recorded with cruel precision. Eliza pressed the letter to her chest, nausea rising. This was no idle gossip. This was intimacy weaponized. Below stairs, her mother hosted tea, her laughter light and polished, as though scandal had not already begun to rot the foundations of their world. "Smile," her mother said later, inspecting Eliza as she dressed. "Your silence invites suspicion." Eliza said nothing. Silence felt safer than lies. Across the city, Lord Julian Hawthorne dressed with unhurried confidence, fastening his cuffs as though vows, spoken or broken, meant little to him. His valet hesitated, then spoke. Another letter arrived, my lord. Julian read it once, then again. A promise made in church does not keep a man warm at night. He laughed softly, not because it was false, but because it was familiar. Julian had loved married women. He had been loved by them. London pretended outrage while indulging in the same sins behind closed doors. Hypocrisy was the city's greatest luxury. And yet Eliza was different. She was untouched by scandal, and that made her irresistible. The Astley Hall luncheon was announced before noon, invitations dispatched with urgency. It was not merely a gathering. It was an arena. Eliza arrived draped in pale blue silk, her posture immaculate, her expression unreadable. Eyes followed her as though she carried secrets in the folds of her gown. And perhaps she did. Julian stood near the windows, already surrounded, already desired. A married countess laughed too loudly at his side, her hand lingering where propriety did not permit. Eliza noticed. Julian noticed her noticing. Their eyes met. The countess withdrew her hand. Julian crossed the room. "You look as though you survived the night," he said quietly. "I did not sleep," Eliza replied. "Neither did London." A woman brushed past them, murmuring just loudly enough, "They say vows are only binding when convenient." Eliza stiffened. Julian leaned closer. "Do not listen." "How can I not? It is everywhere. Gossip only has power when you believe it." "And secrets?" He smiled thinly. "Secrets always have power." They were interrupted by laughter. Sharp, cruel. Lady Margaret Vale entered like a storm wrapped in lace. Her eyes were brighter than before. Sharper. Dangerous. She moved through the room with purpose, greeting wives whose husbands had betrayed them, touching shoulders that still shook from humiliation. She was collecting something. Eliza watched as Lady Margaret paused near Julian, her smile polite, her voice honeyed. "Do you still believe discretion protects you, my lord?" Margaret asked softly. Julian's jaw tightened. "Careful." "Oh, I am," she replied. "I have learned that vows mean nothing to men like you." She walked away smiling. Eliza felt the shift immediately. The room leaned inward. Whispers curved like blades. "You are too close to him," a friend warned Eliza later. "He ruins women, even the married ones. Especially the married ones," another murmured. That night, a carriage waited in the shadows behind Ardenwood Manor. Eliza hesitated only a moment before stepping inside. Julian did not touch her when she arrived. He waited. That restraint was far more dangerous. "You should not be here," he said. "I know. You will be talked about." "I already am." He stepped closer. "If you stay, there will be no pretending." "I am tired of pretending." Their closeness was electric, restrained only by fear and the knowledge of how easily desire could become destruction. His hand hovered at her waist, never quite touching, yet burning hotter than any embrace. "You do not belong to this world," Julian said. "And yet," Eliza replied, "it will not release me." They separated before dawn, both aware they had crossed something invisible and irreversible. The next morning, the velvet quill wrote again. "When vows shatter, lovers emerge. When lovers lie, society bleeds." Eliza read the words as her heart pounded. Across London, wives confronted husbands. Lovers were dismissed. Some were invited back. Promises were broken again before noon. And Lady Margaret Vale smiled into her mirror. The season was no longer about marriage. It was about exposure, and everyone had something to lose. Review in next episode. Hands That Linger deepens the scandal. Cheating spouses, dangerous attraction, and whispered betrayals ripple through London's elite. Eliza edges closer to ruin. Julian's past threatens to surface, and revenge sharpens its teeth. Next episode, Whispers in the Shadow. Hidden affairs turn explosive, loyalties fracture, and desire becomes impossible to deny.